So they're trying to find ways to achieve their goal.
Going back to history, that's where the discrimination of cannabis came from.
Yes.
Because a lot of Mexicans was bringing hemp to the U.S. They used to make cloth, plastic, clothes, even biodiesel.
They should know the metes and bounds. They should have their deeds. They should know where to get this information.
And when Nasri speaks about, that we're already behind the education system, there are some schools that they were moving in a good direction.
How can we mold boys into good men? Society in crisis.
That's the game with the road. We problem now with bloody politicians. We play that game there and think everybody fool. Tell everybody what they do. And if you get money, share it with me now. Share it. But
You think they understand?
most of them don't even know where they go on. That's the game with the road. We problem now with bloody politicians.
Society in crisis.
So they're trying to find ways to achieve their goal.
Looking for the ultimate sea view getaway? Then Sea Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway near the Halover Bridge, is your perfect sea view getaway. Come relax in one of our beautiful air-conditioned sea view apartment, studios, sea view rooms, or suites, all with flat screen television, hot and cold bath, and unlimited access to our spacious and refreshing 40 by 16 foot pool with 6 to 4 feet depth. So you can enjoy that fun and refreshing dive or dip in the pool. We sell ice cold drinks, so you can relax and unwind on our overwater or poolside decks. Contact us at 501-615-4485, 65 or 67. Looking for the ultimate sea view getaway? Then Sea Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway near the Halover Bridge, is your perfect sea view getaway. Come relax in one of our beautiful air-conditioned sea view apartment, studios, sea view rooms, or suites, all with flat screen television, hot and cold bath, and unlimited access to our spacious and refreshing 40 by 16 foot pool with 6 to 4 feet depth. So you can enjoy that fun and refreshing dive or dip in the pool. We sell ice cold drinks so you can relax and unwind on our overwater or poolside decks. Contact us at 501-615-4485, 65 or 67. Buying or selling land can be a daunting experience. Don't leave things to chance. When buying or selling land in Belize, seek the professional real estate services of Shepherd Belize Real Estate. Benefit from our extensive local and international network to find your dream home or to move your property from selling to sold. Our land consultancy services also include appraisals, conveyances, registrations, surveys, transfers, title searches, and the preparation of all other legal documentation and land transaction processes. We are located at number 2 Corner King and Tigris Streets in Belize City. Give us a call at 614-3064 or visit us at www.shepherdbelizerealty.com.
There was a press release from the White House. They said they want to achieve everybody vaccinated and every country at least 70%. 70%. So they're trying to find ways to achieve their goal.
Going back to history, that's where the discrimination of cannabis came from.
Yes.
Because a lot of Mexicans was bringing hemp to the U.S. They used to make cloth, plastic, clothes, even biodiesel.
They should know the metes and bounds. They should have their deeds. They should know where to get this information.
And when Nasri speaks about, that we're already behind the education system, there are some schools that they were moving in a good direction.
How can we mold boys into good men? Society in crisis.
That's the game where they run. We problem now with bloody politicians. We play that game there and think everybody fool. Tell everybody what they do. And if you get money, share it with me now. Share it. But
You think they understand?
most of them don't even know where they go on. That's the game where they run. We problem now with bloody politicians.
Society in crisis.
So they're trying to find ways to achieve their goal.
Looking for the ultimate sea view getaway? Then Sea Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway near the Halover Bridge, is your perfect sea view getaway. Come relax in one of our beautiful air-conditioned sea view apartment, studios, sea view rooms, or suites, all with flat screen television, hot and cold bath, and unlimited access to a spacious and refreshing 40 by 16 foot pool with 6 to 4 feet depth, so you can enjoy that fun and refreshing dive or dip in the pool. We sell ice cold drinks, so you can relax and unwind on our overwater or poolside decks. Contact us at 501-615-4485, 65 or 67. Looking for the ultimate sea view getaway? Then Sea Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Boson Highway near the Halover Bridge, is your perfect sea view getaway. Come relax in one of our beautiful air-conditioned sea view apartment, studios, sea view rooms,
Good night, everybody. I know it's early, but we're starting earlier, just so that we can share the live, and because we do have a very compact show, so we don't want to go over. We prefer go a little bit under, but not over, and so we're going live just so that we can go ahead and finish what we need to finish. As usual, I always thank those who make this show possible, and we have the Maximum Radio and Television. We have, they're on throughout the country. And so I want to say thank you to Ben Ruiz and Michael Salazar. Thank you very much. I also want to thank those in studio, Kelvin, Moya Flowers, and Angel Sutherland. I want to thank you guys. And so I want us to move right ahead. So just share the light so we can start, because tonight we have a very interesting show. We have a show that, definitely it's something that, we need to start thinking about this. A lot is on our plate. Tomorrow is our independence, and we're celebrating. We got independent 1981, and now we are 2020. What is this? Let me just hold on, because I have a lot of stuff here. Yeah, so September 2022. Okay, now it's 7 o'clock, and so I want to start right now. I want to say condolences. I just heard someone shared it with me that one of my friends just passed, Wilmot Simmons. And so, we've been close friends I was registrar of cooperatives and credit unions in 2022. From February 2022, I met him. And that's a little over 20 years, and so 20.5 years, and so we've been friends since then. And so I just want to say my condolences to him, and to his family. My condolences to his family, really. And I'm kind of distracted because I just found out about it, so I'm a bit distracted, we had messaged each other. I know he was in the US getting help, and after that, I was checking up on him, but he passed today, so I want to say condolences. And, you know, we were very good friends. Certain things we didn't see eye to eye with, you know, especially taking a job. But, you know, beyond that, well, or even speaking about it, but, you know, that hasn't never stopped our friendship. We were always very close. So I want to say condolences to him. Let me start now. So I want to go straight ahead. And why you're going to see a little extra space on me is because I want to be able to speak on certain things. Today we're going to be discussing about Belize and if it is independent and what is independence. People need to understand what is independence. Are we truly independent? And so tonight there's certain things I just want to bring certain things forward so that we can start to really analyze and think for ourselves. A lot of times our people, not everybody, they don't want to really think. They don't really, it's just about party, and just have a fun life. There's a lot more to that, and it's a good thing that I have certain people like myself who make the effort, and all of you, the viewers, who make the effort to educate yourselves and really open your minds to know what is happening. So when I guess 3/4 of the population is partying, there's this other, I don't even know if it's I don't even know if it's 25% of us trying to make sure that we, you know, carry on and, you know, make wise decisions in terms of our governance, in terms of moving forward. But there's a number of us, and I know it's you who are tuning in, and so I want to thank you for always being diligent. You understand? So tonight we're going to speak about independence, and one of the first things you come to mind is that, well, we will be celebrating our independence tomorrow. So at least in Belize, and I know in Central America recently they celebrated their independence. I think it's 15th of September in Central America, and I think Mexico as well. So, you know, they've celebrated their independence as well. But we need to look at certain things, and one of the first things I want us to look at is what makes a country independent. And so I have something up there that says what makes a country independent, and so I'd like to ask that be shown. No? All right, good, very good, very good. Let me try and make sure that I can view that well. And if you can see that, I guess depending on how you're viewing it, so let me make sure I need to be able to view this well. It says the 8 criteria for independent country status. Okay, the 8 criteria. Now we know we are considered an independent country, right? They have states as well. But what makes us independent? Let us move straight towards that. Hold on. Let me go towards that. Yeah, because I want to be able to always have certain things that I'm looking at. So you guys have to mind me. I'm the main person who is doing things up here. So I gotta make sure that. All right, so yeah, I'm not able to go into the thing to see who all are there, but anyway, for right now, let me just move on ahead. Now, it says the country has space that has internationally recognized boundaries. All right, when it comes to Belize and our boundaries, we in Belize recognize our boundaries, but we do have a neighbor called Guatemala who does not recognize all our boundaries. All right, so that is one thing, but we recognize our boundaries. All right, so clearly if they don't recognize our boundaries, that they don't think we're independent. At least that is one of the criteria. If you miss one of these 8 criteria, you are not truly an independent country. But we, Belizeans, we recognize our boundaries, and so we would, so far, we would say one, right? To be an independent country, we have to have people who live there on an ongoing basis. That's a given. We do. We do have people living here. I've lived here most of my life, and I believe most of you have as well. It has to have economic activity, an organized economy, and regulation, and regulates its own foreign and domestic trade and prints money. All right? So we do have economic activity, we do have an organized economy, and we regulate our own foreign and domestic trade, although we have more imports, so there is a trade imbalance. All right, there is a trade imbalance. However, we do have, you know, our own foreign and domestic trade. All right, we print our money. Well, we don't really print it here in Belize, but you know, we do contract it out, and it is printed in England, right? So, but we still, you know, we are the one who will inform what to print and how much to print, right? So, 4, have the power of social engineering like education. Definitely, we do have, you know, education, the Ministry of Education, we do have a curriculum. You know, things are changing. We do try to ensure that it is up to par, and there are areas that we can improve on, but yeah, we do meet that criteria. Have its own transportation system for moving people and goods. The bus system may not be at its best right now. You know, there's a lot of outcry in terms of how well our transportation system as it relates to our bus system on the ground. But you know, we do have, and we do also have water taxi, you know, so we do have that. We do have Maritime Act, we do have ships around the place, and so we do have a means of transporting. We do have a transportation system, okay, both on land, sea, and we also have on air. We do have Maya and Tropic Air, all right? So Maya, Island Air, and Tropic Air. So we do have transportation, all right, on land, sea, air, and in the air. Now, 6, has a government that provides public services and police power. That's a given. We do have those. I was once in a public service, and we still have a thriving public service and police power, all right? For some people, too much. It is too much of that. So that is there. Now, has sovereignty from other countries, and we have police, and yeah, and has external recognition. So both of those, we do have sovereignty from other countries, and we are externally recognized. Now, it would seem to us that we do meet the criteria for independent country status, right? So we do meet that. You know, I'm not sure our neighbor would agree. However, we do meet that status, and we believe so. All right. So before I go on, I just want to say yes, thank you. Good night, Rachel and Balaramos. Good night, my friend. And Rachel says good night, Kelvin. Jana Ray, good night. Nancy, good night, my friend. And you know, Nancy says she really A blessed night, Zenaida and viewers. Kelvin and the other young man, really appreciate you guys. Yeah, because it is Independence Eve and we are doing this. All right. And, I had thought about just not doing this for tonight, but I said, you know what? I think this is important and it is the right time for us to discuss this. Gonzalo Ishmael Heredia says, Elrington said, we don't have borders. We have an adjacency zone. And he was the foreign minister of Belize. Yes, Gonzalo. Yes, you are correct. He did say we have an adjacency zone, all right? And yeah, he was the foreign minister of Belize, and that is why I said we recognize it. I recognize our border, and people like Will Mejia, people like the Belize Peace Movement, all of us of the Belize Peace Movement. That is why the territorial, brothers and sisters will go out there and ensure that a flag is planted there, and they ensure that the presence is there. Some people say it's to trigger. It triggers the Guatemalans, but a lot of us differ, and we'll say, it's something just to remind them that, whatever may have been said by our minister or foreign minister or past foreign minister, some of us may not share that sentiment. We don't put any other name than to call it the border of Belize, right? That's just us. We call it the border of Belize. So that is as it regards to that. We understand, though, that there are certain areas that also does not make us, we have to look at whether we're truly independent, and so there's other things that those criteria, but there's other things. We also belong to multilateral entities, organizations, and those multilateral organizations, like, for example, over the past 2 years, you understand, it didn't seem like we were independent at all. We took orders, and by we, I'm not saying me, but our leaders, all right? Our leaders and our public officers, the heads, especially, the director of health at the time, took orders, and even our commissioner of police and all these people, they were taking orders, all right? And these orders were as a result of entities, including the World Health Organization. There's a list of them, so let's see some of those. Go ahead. So, for example, Belize is a member of the following multilateral bodies, all right? We have the ACP, which is the African, Caribbean, and Pacific Group of States, okay? I've had to represent meeting at that as well in Brussels, Belgium. The Agency for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons in Latin America and the Caribbean, all right? The Caribbean Community, okay? So everybody knows about CARICOM. All right, so that's another entity. I know that's another entity. I used to be, one of the economists and the director that had to deal with CARICOM in the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade and National Development. We have, of course, Caribbean Development Bank. All right, again, another entity I used to have to work with. Commonwealth of Nations, we discussed that, and some of these, if you don't know it, I don't want to discuss all what they means, but maybe I'll just say a little sentence. As you know, CARICOM has, it's just the group of the different Caribbean nations, and we agree, on certain things, of course, and one of the big things has to do with the free movement, of our people among the different countries. And I won't say island states because we're not an island, although some people like to say island states. We're not an island. Belize is not an island. Suriname is not an island. Guyana is not an island. So we also have the Caribbean Development Bank. All right, they are the entity. Again, all of these we do pay membership fees, and so we try to ensure that we get, what we can from these entities. All right, it has to do with support in any way, whatever goods, whatever services. The Commonwealth of Nations, I discussed that last week. All right, we won't get into that. But at any given time, it depends on which country is in, which country is out. If one country, is out for whatever reason, sometimes it's 52 countries, 53 countries, it depends. The Food and Agriculture Organization, all of us know about that, FAO. Well, let me not say all of us. Again, that's something when I was registrar of cooperatives and credit unions, we had to work alongside the Food and Agriculture Organization. The Group of 77, all right, not G7, 77. Inter-American Development Bank, a lot of us have heard about that. The IDB, we just say IDB, all right, again, another entity, and it's our Latin American brothers and sisters. Those countries, a lot of us, may have heard about that, and that's another bank that has been doing quite a bit in Belize, and that's one of the entities that we used to borrow from. We would borrow from. Sometimes we get certain grants. There are certain programs from that. Another entity I used to have to deal with, as a public officer. And International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, all right, another entity that I had to deal with. So all of these play a role, and when I'm discussing them, I can honestly say that we have done certain work with them, projects, programs. We've gotten assistance from them. We do pay our dues, so as well though. International Civil Aviation, all right, I know one of my friends watching, he deals with that. A few of my friends actually. International Civil Aviation, you got the International Confederation of Free Trade, International Red Cross and Red Crescent Movement, International Development Association, International Fund for Agriculture Development, all right, IFAD. And of course you have the International Labor Organization. I'm running past those because in the interest of time. So again, when it comes to the ILO, I know a lot of us have heard about the ILO because a lot of us have at some point or the other been an employee. And so that is the entity that would be dealing with labor, all right? As an employer, you'll have certain entities that deal with them more than others who represent us, right? But the trade union movement definitely deals a lot with them. Of course, the government as well. You have the IMF, International Monetary Fund, they're right there. And, you've heard quite a bit about them, good and bad. Good and bad, we've heard quite a bit about them. And so I just want to tell you that, it's something that we have to make sure that we do well so that we're not placed under the any agreement. So that International Monetary Fund is an entity, and it's right there always watching over us. We have to carry out certain things that they expect us to carry out and so forth. So they meet, and they'll meet with the government officials, officials like the leader of the opposition and those people as well, the trade union movement or leadership, the Chamber of Commerce, those kinds of entities also they're going to meet with as well. They have, and again, as another entity, the Ministry of Economic Development and Trade, we used to have to be alongside these people and go out and ensure that their meetings go well, meet and take them around, no? So again, these are real entities. They do impact, our development and whether or not we are independent. International Maritime Organization, Intelsat and Interpol. So we've heard a lot about Interpol. You guys have heard about it, especially when, we hear about, someone, some crime or somebody who has killed or done anything wrong, let's say in a neighboring country, and we have to contact that Interpol. We're going to hear about that, international police. We're going to hear contacting them, and they contact us. So these are the multilateral bodies that we belong to, and that they play a role on us, right? They play a role on what we do and so forth. All right, there's quite a bit of them. We do have treaties now. I won't go through all the treaties. I won't go through all of them in any way. We're not going to go through them. And some of them, as I told you, like you have some of these people are also from the United Nations, and we are part of the United Nations, and some of them are a part. So I want to tell you that, and again, we've seen how the impact of the entities under the United Nations, and I list out a few of them have played a role in Belize, right, including UNEP and so forth. But I want to say that those are not the only thing that defines us as to whether or not we're independent or we're still, we still are a part of these organizations, and whether or not we are truly independent. There's like 192 treaties. I won't go over all of them, but there's a lot of treaties, and you're going to hear about them. So let's just see the treaties. I won't go over them, all right? For the interest of time, I won't go over these treaties, but just suffice to say that you guys have to look at these treaties, all right? Thank you very much. Let me just, before I go through that's too small for you guys to see, so I'm not going to read them. I just wanted you to see how many treaties we belong to, all right? Good night, Claudette Simmons. Good night. Thank you very much. Good night. Good night. Ellen Arzu. Good night. Good night. Steve Henry, my friend. Good night. Good night. Thank you very much, Father Henry. And so some of these particular entities, some of these particular treaties have impacted us, and we saw that we, for example, during the past two and a half years, we definitely saw and we heard about certain treaties, certain agreements that, really we had to abide by, and our leaders had to abide by. And so when I look at this, I know fully well that you have to be able to live alongside these entities, live along them. We have some of these entities, you hear about the Kyoto Protocol. I mean, there's certain entities that are definitely, they have impacted us, and, that's environment, and a Convention Against Discrimination in Education. There's the GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. You understand? There's the Geneva Convention, CITES. There's a lot of these things. International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, although we haven't really discussed. People, it impacts us, but it isn't something that we have discussed so much, so people don't really know about it. The Committee Against Torture, you understand, the Convention on Biological Diversity, all right, is a convention I used to have to deal with very closely as an economist. Abolition of forced labor, I had spoken about that last week, all right. That's what defines us, so we're not slaves. We get paid, all right. Many different treaties. You understand? The convention establishing the Association of Caribbean States. On agriculture, a lot of them. I don't want to go through the Cotonou Agreement, another agreement I used to deal with as an economist. And Convention on Cluster Munitions, and United Nations Convention Against Corruption, Discrimination, Employment and Occupation Convention. So there's a lot of things. This one is very dear to us, the Freedom of Association and Protection of the Right to Organize Convention. Now, this is a convention that got thrown through the door during COVID, during those lockdowns, all right? The Freedom of Association and Protection of the Right to Organize Convention. To me, that was like a waste of time. That got thrown through the door. I know because I actually, if this was truly in effect, I wouldn't have gotten arrested when we were walking along the sidewalk, when during the Freedom March. So that clearly, a lot of these conventions, these treaties have not been adhered to by our government, and we can go down the list and we can see that a lot of them have not been adhered to. They have certain ones, minimum wage, and different minimum wage, the Migration for Employment Convention. So there's a lot of them. The Paris Agreement, the Ottawa Treaty. So some of these are just a Rural Workers Organization Convention, a lot of them. So let me not, worst forms of child labor convention, a lot of them, I found them interesting, but I won't go because there's just too much of them. But those are what I'm going to be showing you, and let me just dive right into the discussion further now. So in terms of that, that's what I will be showing. So the camera, maybe we could just move the camera since we won't be showing much. But I want to tell you, now it's a time now that we have to be able to see whether or not we are independent. We went through certain things. We're going to be celebrating our independence tomorrow, but we have to really look at it and see whether or not we're truly independent. I saw when we posted it, certain persons say we're not, and I got feedback immediately that we're not, and one of them had to do, I know, I had seen, I know Dr. Zuniga had commented, and he had said, for example, I just read his comment when we had posted it, the topic, and he said, and this is as regards independent, if you're truly independent, the word is laughable, he says, and it turned out to be a marketing trick. Just the mere fact that we are yet a controlled member of the Commonwealth says a lot. Just the mere fact that some are there waiting to be blessed with OBEs, MBEs, etc. say a lot. None of those could be happening in a truly independent nation. However, independence could be analyzed from the philosophical realm of idealism and realism. And even materialism, dialectic. I know he says a lot of words. He is a doctor, so. And the conclusion in all is that it is another of their tons of lies. From an economic theory or political economics perspective, even darn worse. And even the countries who have to be first world are dependent, and the irony of all this is that they are dependent on developing countries or the countries that they arrogantly call third world. Without the resources from the third world countries, their economies crumble like a house of cards. So independence doesn't exist, and it never existed. It's just a marketing stunt. Nations are made up of people, even though they want to transhumanize us. And as people, or nation of people, we are dependent on each other. Maybe country's birthday. Words like autonomy and self-determination doesn't even fit. Hello, COVID. Mr. COVID showed who called the shots. So independent? Hell no. A branch of the one world government. All right, that's what I got from Dr. Zuniga, and that's what he had written on the page, no? And I have to say that it is definitely, I can see where he comes from with that, because it is something that who feels it knows it, and a lot of, and you see me watching what I say, because I think it's the 25th of September, I believe, Kelvin, that YouTube, I'm up to the 25th of September, if I say anything against the vaccine, they literally would delete my YouTube page, the Zenaida Moya Show YouTube page, because I'm already at 2 strike, warning and 2 strikes. So the 3rd strike would be if I say anything against it, and that's why you see me very labored. I'm watching what I speak, because we have, today is the 20th, and so we have 5 more days, and after that 5 more days, then we start back again. So clearly, when we have big entities like these, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, who can shut down and cut the profiles and the accounts of even the president of the superpower nation, United States, when they shut it down from Donald Trump, they removed his account. It goes to show, just like what Dr. Zuniga said, we're not truly independent at all. We're dependent on each other. We're not truly independent. However, it's a nice word, and we like to say that we're independent. Hell, even when I see, when you go on Facebook, for example, and you see people, they say, they'll put that they are, what do they like to put? Boss lady, and then you look at it, and many of these boss ladies are unemployed. But you say, boss lady, maybe they have their own work or they have their own business. That's not it either. I know, because, some of them will contact me, and I know fully well that they're not, and they let me know that they're not. But this boss lady, so people like to feel that they're independent. They love to feel that they're, even when they're not independent. A lot of these boss ladies are not independent. They're not employed. They don't own their own business, but they like that word boss lady, which is independent. So even you go to the club, all the independent girls raise your hand. You're gonna see a lot of them raising their hands. Maybe they're independent in their room, in their bedroom, but other than that, they're not independent at all. And a lot of them don't act independent. All right, I saw that during when we had, our fight for our rights. I saw that, a lot of people were afraid. They were very fearful to even, when the government said jump, a lot of them jumped because they were so afraid. I know, because I had certain people around me, and they were timid little mice. And, it wasn't something, it wasn't something that showed independence. And it goes to show, and I even watch when people will speak about those in Belize City. I watch, and whether or not people want to get offended, that's they have their right to get offended. For me, I will speak it as it is. People like to say, all right, those in Belize City they just follow the crowd. They will never stand up for their rights. And they will speak about people in Orange Walk standing up for their rights, or people in Kaya standing up for their rights, but not those from Belize City, with the exception of probably a few of us who will stand up for our rights. And literally, there's just a few of us. You understand? Just a few of us will stand up for our rights. You see? You'll have persons like myself, you'll have maybe Raymond Rivers, even Yaya Marine, you'll have, just a few of us will stand up for our rights. There's this guy who deals with his cave tubing, why am I forgetting his name? He will stand up for his rights. There's some people who, they will stand up for their rights, and you see them standing up, all right? But you don't see a lot of that. Some of them will, with the union, you'll see some of them, a few of them will come out. Very few of them, a lot of them, they won't. Now, when it comes to the Belize National Teachers Union, they will try to come out together as a group. Whether or not they would come do anything by themselves, I don't know. I don't know, I've not seen that tested. They come out as a group. There's just a few of us, and that's with the public service, that's with the other unions. There's just a few of us that it doesn't matter. We will go up even, and I know fully well, I will go up even if it's just me alone for things that I believe in. And you'll see a few of us who do the same. And I'm sure there's a number, there's other people that I'm not calling their names, but they will do the same. They will stand up, even if it's just themselves. They will stand up, and you're going to see them showing that, you know what, they truly believe that they have the right to stand up for their rights. And it is in that respect that we have to look at this, because when we move forward and we're going to celebrate, we're going to raise our little flags and wear our red, white, and blue. See, today I have on my red, white, and blue, red, white, and I put on my little blue. And, you know, I try to ensure that the Independence Day still means something to me. But we have to truly dive in. And we know that for us to be independent, there are certain things we have to put in place. The economic stability will have to be, let me see, the economic stability will have to be one. So what is it that we have to do to be economically independent? That's one of the things we have to do. No, doesn't mean we get out on the street and we put on little hair pieces and head pieces and we dance and gyrate. No, be free on the street. Maybe that's one of the independence that some of these people do, right? They're independent on the street, all right? They're independent dancing. They feel independent by dancing and being free to dance without clothes. Maybe that's their independence. But when they're finished with that, are they economically independent? Are they financially independent? You understand? Are they politically independent? So these are some of the things that they have to look at. At their home, do they go home? Are they independent, or do they have a man beating them up like dirty dog? Because that's another thing. You see a lot of these women, and I have to say women, they will say all kinds of things out there, and you know, they look like the world is happening, and you know, they're being beaten up and beaten and battered behind closed doors. But they will be the one that's posting up these wonderful looking photos and saying they're boss lady and you know otherwise. I had told you about a young lady who had come to work for me. She was the first to say she didn't need a job because her man will take care of her. But her man used to kick her up, literally kick her up bad, beat her up. You understand? But she's one of them. She's a boss lady. so it's just it's something that, you know, I'm not laughing because as I said, I don't even know if she's alive, because, you know, those types of people are the ones that are getting killed, and I don't have time to watch news every day. I have to start to watch news, but I don't have time to watch news every day. But for the 1 year now, all right, that we've been celebrating our independence, all right, tomorrow will be 41 years. And we as a people still are at the level where are we self-sufficient? Are we self-sufficient? You see, we have on the show spoken numerous times about trying to become self-sufficient. Numerous times we have discussed. Start planting. And some of us may have the means to not have to plant because we have other things going on for us. But there's others who have the land, who may not have anything going on for themselves. And so it's something that we've been trying to push in their heads, try to encourage them, plant, so that if anything goes wrong, at least they can be independent, self-sufficient. At least they can do it. You see? And yeah, here the Young says, so do you think that we should be removed from the monarchy, like what Mr. Barros suggests? Okay, as I said, we're in a position that I just spoke about how even though we believe we are independent, we're not in the truest form independent. We have to rely on all these multilateral organizations. And while other countries like the United States are also a part of many of these organizations, they can dictate to these organizations. They're the main donors, they're the main sponsors, they're the main financiers of a lot of these organizations. So they can be said to be more independent than us, even though they are members of these multilateral organizations, right? However, Belize is not at that level. We are not self-sufficient. We are not, our trade balance has a deficit, all right? We are reliant on assistance, foreign aid. We are reliant on it. You see? So here we are definitely reliant. When you're reliant, for example, I won't get into the incident, but we saw recently someone, for whatever reason, is an elected official, and this person, it said has a job, but is still living with a parent, right? I won't get into it because I'm close, so I won't get into that, all right? But you look at it and you say, but why? Why would this person still live with the parent, right? Because as much as that person may seem independent to us, right, or to the regular person out there, that person is not truly independent. You see, to be truly independent, one, there are certain things that needs to be done. We have to own our own house, mortgage-free. When I tell you mortgage-free, mortgage-free. Mortgage-free, no mortgage. Because the day you don't pay your mortgage, the bank can take it back from you. All right? You see? So, mortgage-free. 2, perhaps if you own your own business and you don't have to rely on one stream, one revenue source. So it's not only, for example, you get your money just from the government here in Belize, or you don't get contracts just from the government, so that if a government comes out of office, you're done. You have to wait another 5, 10, 12, 13 years. Okay? You for example, you're getting money, let's say, from abroad, and that's a steady stream of funds. You don't have to be reliant on political victimization, small-mindedness of certain politicians, of the government, becoming partisan on you. So you're able to have your own home, mortgage-free. You can have your business, so you own your own business. You have good clients. You have your source. You have savings that can carry you for possibly some years, so that if anything happens to you, like what happened over the past 2.5 years, you don't have to be ending up losing your business, losing your home. Having to sell your body, sell your kids' body, that's a position to be truly independent. So I always look, and I look and I only hope, and that's why I'm one of them that will always be there trying to, impart whatever knowledge I can impart and educate and open the minds of my people, all right? So that they can be truly, at least as much as can be independent, as much as can be, all right? Yes, we have the economic factors. Another thing, having lots of kids and having kids early. When you have a child, when you're like, hell, you shouldn't be having a kid when you're 14. But let's say we have people who have had kids when they're 14, 15. Still today, we have people having kids at the tender age of 15, 16 years old. All right? 17 years old. They're barely out of high school and they're already pregnant in high school. All right? I had some of my schoolmates pregnant in high school. 18 years old. Having a child is still young. 19-year-old is still young. 20, still young. 21, 22. In this day and age, it's too young. You're tying yourself down. You see? And when you have a child this young, I mean, a study has been done, more than one studies. And it shows, it tells you that each child you have takes you back 5 years. 5 years you go back. Financially. 5 years in what you wanted to achieve, because each of those children takes you back. You can go out. If you're a professional, you can't be going out to meetings if you don't have a babysitter, if you don't have family to help you. And most of us don't have any family. I've never had a family that helps me. You know, I don't have family that helps me. I'm by myself. I pay. I have to pay for help. All right, I am not one who had any granny or grandpa to help me. My dad died when I was young. So, when I was like 23 years old, he died, and so he wasn't here. I'm sure he would have helped me. I'm sure, because he loved me, passionately. He loved me. He was awesome dad. Well, I didn't have anybody, so I saw someone like me didn't have anybody to help her. All right. To take care of any kid. So I waited before I had my child, okay? But a lot of our young girls, I guess the beauty, some of them are pretty, or they believe they're pretty, or they have, people term it a sexy body, or, whatever they term it now. And you see they're getting pregnant early, and they pour out pictures and showing their belly, and as though that's something to be proud of. Oh, they're showing their belly, and they're very young. And they know behind closed doors, when they have that child, they want to kill themselves, they want to give up life, they hate men because the men will leave them. Most of them, the men will leave them after a year, maybe a year, tops 2, maybe 2 years, they might stay with them. Afterwards, they become single mother. That is reality. That is what we're going through right now. And that is the reason why I said independence is, are we truly independent? Because we're not giving ourselves the time to truly look and say, you chart a way forward. A lot of us, we have kids we didn't want. We didn't want these kids, and so it's 5 years back. 5 years back. Each child, 5 years back, 5 years back. Now I understand that the world has to go on. So a lot of us have to have kids, all right? But maybe we don't have to have 3 kids. We don't have to have 4 kids. We don't have to have 5 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids, 8 kids, 9 kids, 10 kids, 11 kids, 12. Maybe two the most. You know what I'm saying? And to each their own. You understand? I had a brother, he said he wanted a what? Football team or a basketball team. Someone of them, he said. All right? But I see that's not the case. He doesn't have it. I think the wife told him no. So wise of her, very wise of her. So the point is that you can't, having a lot of kids will definitely not have you being independent. All right? Will not have you being independent. And so, Haiti, when you think about the monarch, are we at the position where do we feel comfortable that if we leave, we move that link, we move that tie, we can stand on our foot independently? Will we feel, secure and strong enough that, it doesn't matter if nobody comes to our defense? Because I do see people, and some of them are my friends and my colleagues, saying, oh, move away from the monarchy, move away from monarchy. Those are the same people, a lot of them, not all, a lot of them are the same ones. They have their green cards. Some of them are Belizean Americans. They're some Belizean and whatever. You know, some of them have their families in the US, especially, that they will be able to run quickly. They don't have that much link anyway. Some of them, you know, they don't own much here, you know, so they don't have a lot at stake versus people like me who have most of what we own, we have invested, is here in Belize. We have walked the walk and walked the talk. We did not run, we did not go anywhere, we stood here. You understand? We're here. And we don't have any other country to go to. Some of us we can if we want, yes, but we choose not to. Maybe we will one day, who knows? But the point is that a lot of them speaking about leaving, these people, they have the means. Maybe their fathers are multi-millionaires, millionaires, so they can leave, they can go wherever. They can seek asylum, they have certain benefits, they have certain visas. You understand? Some of them have diplomatic visas. What will happen to us? What will happen to us, the regular folks? And yes, I'll put myself as regular folk. You understand? I'm not elected. All right? I'm not elected. So I'm just a regular person right now. And so what will happen to us if anything happens? You understand? Are we prepared? Are each one of us, each person who wants us to just cut ties, and let's say there's a transgression, because look what happened with Russia and Ukraine. People will say, oh, that will never happen to us. Really? That could never happen to us? Really? Really? And what, the US will run to our defense? Really? They run toward you, really? And it's these same people that if we were to cut link with the monarchy now, I'm not saying in the future we wouldn't, if we're very strong and we want to and we feel that we're at that point where, you know, but at this point in time, do we feel that we're strong enough? We're capable enough? We're financially sound enough? We have our borders intact. Man Gonzalo said that Sederington said we don't have borders, we have an adjacency zone, and he is the foreign minister of Belize. You see? So would we be able would these people be the first to pick up arms? Are they trained to go on the front line and start to defend? I had the figures of these, how many thousand? It's a crazy figure for any of you who have the figure. I had the figure, I just didn't, I would have to go back and check the figures, but we have what? 1,200 soldiers? Is that what we have in our Belize Defense Force? If anybody has, the figures, let me know. And I was informed that, for example, Guatemala has, they were saying over 100,000, but I can't imagine. That's a lot of soldiers. I'm not sure. So if anybody has that, the figures as to how many soldiers Guatemala has, how big their military is, and their volunteers, because they also have volunteers as well. Compared to us, a lot of Belizeans have not volunteered, and it's not, well, it wouldn't be mandatory if it's called voluntary, volunteer, right? But our country doesn't mandate that you have to get trained in military defense. Perhaps we should mandate it. Who knows? You understand? At least for the males, and then the women learn, certain self-defense as well. All right, because it's the women who would be raped. All right, normally in war, what happens to women? They're raped. They're raped. A lot of them are raped and then killed. You see? Or raped for months, depending on how long the war is, weeks, and they're kept there and just been raped and raped and raped. And young girls, that's what happened to females. So for all these women who are pushing and want us to move off, then let them understand. Is that what they are? Do they feel comfortable? Not me. No. Oh no. I don't want anyone putting any hand on me. You see? So I'm not the one advocating to cut ties with the monarch at this time. I'm not saying in the future. I'm not saying in the future, if we ever come to a point and we are discussed, like a country like Singapore and so forth. But we're not at that point. So for all those who want us to move on, hey, I want you to sign up right now, sign a contract with the government, with the people of Belize, and say you will be on the front line, and you will be defended, and you will have your entire family on the front line as well. You know why your entire family? Because you're not going to play possum and say, oh, well, I have a little son, he's 1 year old, and I have to take care of that son, and my wife is pregnant, so I can't go out to the front line. I did say I was going to go, and yes, I was one who pushed, to cut ties with the monarch, but you know what? I'm ready, I can't do it right now, and so you leave people like me, have to go out and do what we need to do. You understand? I've seen that too many times. I was a trade union leader, and many times I'm telling you, and even as recently with the fight for our rights, our health, our health rights recently, when taking or not taking, the shot. I saw firsthand, it was like deja vu. I used to recall as a trade union leader many times, we would be on the front line, and when we look back, look to the side, barely any members were with us. They were afraid. They would be in their offices peeping through the blinds, watching to see what we're doing. They'd be peeping on the blinds. They would never come out. They wouldn't come out because we were the one who would go out there and fight for them. We would go out, and they knew that, they have people like Miss Moya who will go out and fight for them. So they didn't go out. They didn't go out. You understand? You would have people like myself, Dylan Renault. You understand? You have people like Lena Smith. You see? So you'd have people in the different unions who they knew would go out there and be fighting. You understand? And others who would be there, George Fraser and so forth. So the point is that we knew when we would look around, there were a lot of times we were by ourselves, and that was a show also. I look at it and I said, shoots, I said, times haven't changed, because I saw what happened last year. You see, we had people walking along, and when time come, you saw people, even, for example, when I had gotten arrested, you had just a few who went and were there, standing strong. You understand? The others, they went the other way, afraid. You understand? Whatever reason or excuse they want to give, they made sure that they didn't go towards the station. They could say all they want, but they didn't go. You understand? And give all their reasoning, but they did not go. You only had a handful of them. All right? Those were the brave ones. Those were the ones. You understand? And you could say, okay, you could go to war with them, because they will go. They will go. The others, well, they played it safe. And I have to say it, I don't care who. I've never been one who cares whether or not somebody gets upset with me. Never have. I don't care. You see? So I don't want to spend that much time to get into that, but Haley, I hope you understood my question, my response. And I do understand there are some people who would have wanted to come, but they were stopped. They were prevented on that day from fighting for their rights. They were prevented. You see? They were prevented from coming. So there are those people who would have been right there with me. All right? But they were prevented. The government prevented them. So I do acknowledge that. And some just didn't come. Maybe they didn't have money to pay for a bus. So I do acknowledge that as well. And some, they did not know about it. So the point is, though, what I want to tell you is, You have to, when you think about being truly independent, you have to be able to stand up. Like, for example, I did not have to stand up. First of all, I didn't even have to go out there and do what I did. I know, because I own my own business. I don't have to report to anybody. I'm not an employee. So no employer had dictated to me that, okay, if you don't get the job, you can't work here. None. I did it on my own. Just like in 2004 and 2005, when I was out there fighting for the rights of workers, for citizens of Belize, I did so even though I was a head of department in the government service. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to fight it. It didn't affect me. I was fine. I own my own, I own my own house, I own 3 other lands, I own my own business at the time. You understand? All right, so I was well off. I was very well off. I didn't have any problems. You understand? I was fine. I owned my own vehicles. I was traveling the world. So I was okay. I was very well off. Okay? So you could say, okay, so you can do certain things, and that's true. If you are not independent, you can't do certain things, and that's why certain people, you see them, and so that's why when they're going to say about their boss lady and boss lady, move that boss lady and be wise and put looking for a job or open to work. When you're in LinkedIn is a professional network, for those of you who don't know. LinkedIn, LINKD, in. When you are unemployed, all right, you don't put boss lady, you put open to work. And I'll tell you, even consultant will put open to work. And that is because sometimes you put open to work. Well, I haven't put it, right? Because I have my business otherwise. But I do consultancy on the side. But consultant will put consultancy, and they could be having a consultancy they're doing right there that may last a year or 2 years. But they're open, they still have open to work, so that if there's another consultancy, they might get someone else to work with them for that consultancy. They're not ashamed to put, that they're open for work. But you see these unemployed people, especially females, boss lady, and then the rest will put their work at Krusty Krab. It's funny. But, so it's just stupidity, right? What they need to start to put, open to work. You understand? Or looking for a job. You see? So that they can truly, or willing, whatever they want, open to joint venture, or joining up for a business, something, so that they can really be boss lady. All right? But other than that, it's foolish what they have up. At least those who are not in the position to be having those up. And who the cap fit, then you just wear it. All right. Rachel Ann Balarama said, Belize isn't ready to remove from the monarchy. Belize is the only country that doesn't have boys and girls giving their time, training to defend this country. You're correct. And that's what I agree, that people have to, the government probably has to ensure that this is a part of the curriculum. They have to be able to get in and, get our people organized. The writing is on the wall. You can't be flouting your mouth and talking about, we need to cut ties, and you're not ensuring that the education curriculum includes, civic education and knowledge about the ICJ and the case at hand and our rights, and being trained to defend ourselves if time comes. Just like how the Ukrainians have to defend themselves. You see these blonde-haired girls and these blonde-haired guys and these whatever little, you would never believe some of them would have to pick up arms, but they have had to do so. They have arms. How much do we have? Do we have a war tank? Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Help me out here. Do we have war tank? I'm not aware. Do we give, so how many? Tell me. Do we have, aircrafts that we can shoot down, go in and, and defend ourselves and shoot down whatever we need to shoot down? Do we have that? Do we have it? All of you who are trying to push, you understand? I understand, what do they call it? Reparation. You want money when it comes to the from the monarchy. Maybe that's something you go ahead, push for it. But again, that's something where people will say, okay, it's something that, well, it was our ancestors, those of us who do have ancestors in that were once slaves. We were never slaves. None of us watching this have ever been a slave, but we want the sweets of what happened back then. We want things that we did not earn. Why? And who are the ones pushing it? You look at who are the ones pushing it. I'm not saying all, but a lot of them that are pushing it, what have they done for our country? Really? What have they really done for our country? Have they truly done anything for our country? Have they tried to uplift our people? Some of them push it, not all, some of them pushing for it, haven't done anything. They've been unemployed, not wanting to work, not wanting to go to school, not wanting to take care of their kids, but they want reparation. Why? Because it's like freebie. They expect that they're going to get a lump sum money. You understand? You have to understand the mindset of some of these people. Now, if it is then that we push for reparation and we push so that we get certain funding, and I told you we do get certain funding, all right, from the UK. But if it is that we'll get further funding for certain projects and programs that will help our people, then fine. Yes, go ahead. But not to just put money into the pockets of each. That's not, and that's what it seems some people are thinking. Okay? So that is what I truly want people to understand. We need to open up our eyes. Think about what we truly have to do to be independent. One, little girls, young girls, close your legs. Close them. Close them. Keep them closed. You're 15, 16, 17 years old, 18 years old, 19 years old. Close them. Keep them closed. Keep them closed. 20 years old. Keep them closed. And if you're going to open them, make sure that you protect yourself. Make sure you protect yourself. I don't mean, okay, you get pregnant and 4 months from now you want to go throw away, kill the child, because you're killing a human being. You're killing a human being. Protect yourself then. Use contraceptive. Use contraceptive. Protect yourself. All right? If you want to be independent, but still open your legs at a young age, protect yourself. Because I'm telling you, and I'm going to speak very raw here, I'm telling you, you will not live a happy life. I see a lot of these girls, they're fake. They're smile, you know, they're so happy. I always wanted my little angel, my little princess, and they're 15, 16 years, like really? What happens when you have that child and you can't sleep, you're unemployed, you're not educated, you're not educated, and you can't take care of that child, and the guy goes to the father, or the person you think is the father, leaves you for someone who can go out with him to the clubs, who can go out with him to a football game or a basketball game, or wherever. What will you do? Cry? Try to ensure that you have everybody hate that person? Go to family court and try to ensure that you get money from that person who he himself might be unemployed? Have him be put in jail? What good will that do for the child? So you gotta think, all of you who think that, you know, putting on fake eyelashes and fake weave and whatever these long acrylic nails and whatever on your face and whatever it is priority so that you can look good to catch a man or catch a boy or whatever it is. No, Keep focus. Keep focus. Plain and straight. Keep focus. And the mothers, the parents who have gone through that, who probably didn't have a mother or someone speaking to them like this, you know what you went through. So try to ensure that your child doesn't repeat the cycle and doesn't hate herself, doesn't hate her life. You see? Rachel Ann Balaramo says, Belize backwards, bad living conditions as to improve healthcare workers, wages, improve many more before they make great decision. Okay? So, the poverty rate, exactly, Rachel, the poverty rate. So the poverty rate, it is said that the true poverty rate is, it's like over 60% of our population. That's a lot, people. So how can we be clamoring to be cut off? You see, whether or not who's on the face of the paper is neither here nor there. It's neither here nor there. However, are we truly strong? We're 41 years old, right? Right? And so as a country, are we truly strong? Are we there yet to be able to say that we are, we are capable of handling our own doki? All right? And if our neighbor wants to take over us, we can stand on our own. We don't need anybody help. Because I don't think that CARICOM will send anybody to us immediately. I see some people, and I belong to a group, so I see what people put, especially they like to say about Cuba. Heck, I always say, they like to say about Cuba, oh, Cuba will this and Cuba will that. Fine, let's hope that they will. And CARICOM will do it. Man, please, look at what happens in certain countries. And Cuba, look at their people is trying to run away. Every week we have people trying to escape from Cuba. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. Why would people always want to be escaping from Cuba to come to Belize, the US, wherever? Why? Why are they always wanting to leave Cuba? Why? You see? Why? So when these people are talking about all these good things, oh my gosh, I would want them to go live in these countries. And I always say, that's why I still love my Belize. I still love my Belize. You understand? We still have a level of, I said level of freedom, level of independence. We still feel that we have, someone, a big brother, a big sister that will look out for us in terms of a country, you see, because of our ties. And we're part of the Commonwealth. We're part of the Commonwealth. Thank you very much, Gregor Morrison. He says, speaking the truth to our young people. Thank you very much. And so, my brothers and my brothers and sisters, let us be wise. I can go on and on. This is a topic that is very dear to me. However, I want to wish you all a wonderful and blessed independence. As usual, I want to thank all of you viewing, all of you watching. Next week, Tuesday, I'll be here, same place, same time. Enjoy our Independence Day. Please, I hope that everything will go well. Enjoy it. Both Belizeans here and abroad. My Aunt Jenny, living in California, LA, I want to say, I love you. My family is living there as well. My brother, my cousins living there, my friends, all right, some of you are watching as well. I want to say big up to yourselves. Of course, my family living in other countries, all right. I want to say, enjoy Independence Day. I know you guys love Belize. I know because I'm always in communication with you. So we will enjoy it here in Belize. You guys enjoy it there, all right. So big up yourself. Thank you very much, Rachel. Thank you very much. Thank you. I intend to enjoy myself. All right. Jassi put something in there. Thank you. I know Jassi is always trying to educate our people, and that is one of the persons. And I told you some of us will stand up, and so there's some of us who will stand up. Gregory says, we're letting in their people or neighbor. They no longer need a military to take over. You see there, Gregory? You are correct. You are correct. You know many Guatemalans are now Belizeans? Guatemalan Belizeans. That's what they are, Guatemalan Belizeans. So what he says is true. We're letting in their people. They no longer need a military to take us over. And it doesn't matter what. Some of them truly love Belize. But a lot of them, their allegiance is to where their family lives, where they came from. Come on. Look at our Belizeans. Look at our Belizeans who live in the US. Where is their allegiance? They still love Belize. They love Belize. You can't take that away from them. You can't take that away from them. So what do you think about the Guatemalans? What do you think about the Guatemalans? You think that they don't love Guatemala? That they will choose Belize over Guatemala? Like really? You really think so? You know what I'm saying? You really think so? You really think so? You see? So we have to have this mind. We have to understand. It's just like our one Belize American. They love Belize. Make no boastful. They love Belize. Belize is there. Is them. Is a part of them. So, and we appreciate that because we love them. They're our families. They're our families and they're our friends. So we're happy. Thing is, we're not in any war with the U.S., so that's fine. These people, we are at not physical war at the moment. You understand? But geographically, they're fighting us. You know, and they're fighting us against about our borders. So next week, we're going to have another discussion. I had told you, and I had spoken again with Maximum Television and Radio. I've had a lot of people who have contacted me because I don't only, it's not only the comments you see on Facebook or so forth. I have a lot of people who contact me otherwise, and through WhatsApp, Facebook, of course, YouTube. And what they're saying is that they would want the show to be start at 6:30. Now, I had looked at the fact that news does start at 6 o'clock, all right? But I've had some say it doesn't matter, 6:30 would be great if we started. Again, leave your comments and let me know whether or not 6:30 is okay, if you want me to have it remain at 7 o'clock, because that's where it remain. It's at 7 o'clock. It used to be at 8 o'clock. I used to have my show at 8 o'clock, then I move it to 7, right? When during the whole, lockdowns, we had to have it at 7 earlier. So after a show, people could go home. So again, the request is for it to move to 6:30. Leave your comments. Let me know otherwise. Some of you contact me, through WhatsApp or however. It doesn't matter. Inbox me. Let me know, or you can leave it in the comments, all right? Whether or not 6:30 or 7 o'clock is better for you. Again, I know that for those of you who are watching on television, Max TV is the entity that shows it. So, you could contact or you can message or let us know however you want, all right? With that said, tomorrow is Independence Day. Let's celebrate peacefully. For those of you who want a nice place to recreate, Sea Belize Vacation Rentals. We're located at 5 miles Philip Wilson Highway. We're just 1 minute from Halover Bridge. And it's beautiful. We have this beautiful 40-foot pool, and it's awesome. We do have rooms. Yes, we do have booking, but also rooms. So I just want to say that you can still possibly get. We do have some people who have already asked. Gonzalo says prefers 7 o'clock. Thank you very much. All right, and thank you very much, Gregory Morrison, my friend in California as well. So I want to say 615. The phone number is 501-615-4465 or 4467 or 4485. WhatsApp us or call us if you want to check if we have any rooms that you may need. I know some people are coming into the city, so you may need a place to stay, so you can come on down. And if you just want to swim for the day, again, it's going to be wonderful. We will be open, so you can, come and enjoy a refreshing time. So with that said, have a wonderful time. Thank you very much. Kelvin Moya Flowers, he's remained in studio. Andrew had to leave. And Ben Ruiz, Michael Salazar there at Maximum Television, thank you very much, and radio. So have a wonderful and blessed, it's what the 41st Independence Day, right? 1981, now it's 2022, so 41 years. And so enjoy it to the fullest. Go ahead and take it away, and I'm going to see you here next week. God bless you all. And share this. Okay?
Looking for the ultimate sea
Belize at
getaway?
41.
Then see Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway near the Halover Bridge, is your perfect sea view getaway. Come relax in one of our beautiful air-conditioned sea view apartment, studios, sea view rooms, or suites, all with flat screen television, hot and cold bath, and unlimited access to our spacious and refreshing 40 by 16 foot pool with 6 to 4 feet depth, so you can enjoy that fun and refreshing dive or dip in the pool. We sell ice cold drinks, so you can relax and unwind on our overwater or poolside decks. Contact us at 501-615-4485, 65 or 67. Looking for the ultimate sea view getaway? Then see Belize Vacation Rentals and Tours, located at 5 miles Philip Golson Highway near the Halover Bridge, is your perfect sea view getaway. Come relax in one of our beautiful air-conditioned sea view apartments.